The day I turned 18, my parents threw me out of our house with nothing but a backpack and $50. "You're a disappointment," my father had sneered, watching me stumble down our perfectly manicured driveway. No daughter of mine would choose art over medical school. My mother stood behind him, arms crossed, her expensive tennis bracelet catching the morning sun. "We've given you everything, Sarah, and this is how you repay us, by throwing away your future." Everything they'd given me came with strings attached. The piano lessons I'd loved were just for college applications. The art supplies I treasured were only allowed because they thought it would look good on my resume. Even my volunteer work at the local animal shelter had to stop because it wasn't prestigious enough. I remember standing at the end of our driveway, watching the massive iron gates close behind me. The home I'd grown up in, with its marble columns and manicured gardens, suddenly felt like a prison I was finally escaping. But freedom at 18, with no money and no plan, was terrifying. That's when Aunt Isabella stepped in. I didn't know she'd been watching that day. Didn't know she'd seen everything from her sleek black Mercedes parked down the street. Aunt Isabella, my father's older sister, had always been the black sheep of the family. While my father chose to be a surgeon for the prestige and money, she'd built her technology empire from scratch. "Get in," she'd said, pulling up beside me. I'd always loved my Aunt Isabella. She was everything my parents weren't: warm, genuine, and more interested in who I was than what I could become. In her fitted blazer and Christian Louboutin heels, she looked every bit the CEO she was, but her eyes were kind. "They're wrong about you, Sarah," she said as we drove away. "Art isn't just about painting pretty pictures. It's about seeing the world differently. That's what makes great innovators." That day changed everything. Aunt Isabella didn't just give me a place to stay, she gave me a future. Her penthouse became my home, her guidance my compass. While my parents told everyone I'd run away to avoid responsibility, Aunt Isabella helped me apply to art school. She saw what they couldn't, that my artistic vision could revolutionize user interface design. For 5 years, I thrived. Graduated top of my class. Started working at Isabella's company, Montgomery Tech, designing interfaces that would change how people interact with technology. My parents never called, never checked if I was alive. Their silence hurt, but Aunt Isabella's pride healed those wounds. "You're exactly where you're meant to be," she'd tell me, watching me work late into the night on project deadlines. What I didn't know was that she was sick. Terminal cancer, diagnosed 6 months ago. She'd hidden it well, still came to work every day, still mentored me, still fought with the board over innovative directions for the company. The day she died, I lost more than an aunt. I lost the only real parent I ever known. The funeral was exactly as she would have wanted it, elegant but not ostentatious, focused on celebrating life rather than mourning death. I sat in the front row, wearing the black Chanel suit she'd bought me for my first board meeting, trying not to cry as person after person spoke about her brilliance, her kindness, her vision. Then I saw them. My parents walked into the church like they owned it. Mom in her designer morning wear, Dad in his custom-made suit. They hadn't aged well. Money might buy expensive clothes, but it couldn't hide the bitterness etched into their faces. They spotted me immediately, their eyes narrowing with recognition. "Sarah," my mother's voice was honey-sweet poison as she approached. "Darling, we've been so worried." I almost laughed. 5 years of silence, and now they were worried. "What are you doing here?" I asked, my voice steady. Aunt Isabella had taught me how to stay composed under pressure. "She was my sister," my father said stiffly. "Of course we're here. And you, well, it's time to come home, Sarah. This rebellious phase has gone on long enough." Before I could respond, a tall woman in an impeccable suit approached us. "Ms. Montgomery," she said, addressing me. "I'm Victoria Chen, your aunt's personal attorney. The will reading will begin shortly in the private chamber. Would you please follow me?" My parents' expressions shifted instantly. "Will reading?" My father's voice sharpened with interest. "We're her only living relatives. Well, aside from Sarah, but surely." Ms. Chen's face remained professional, but I caught a glint of something like satisfaction in her eyes. "All will be explained shortly. Please follow me." The private chamber felt too small for the tension filling it. My parents sat across from me, trying to look concerned while their eyes kept darting to Ms. Chen's briefcase. I touched the delicate pendant Aunt Isabella had given me on my last birthday, a tiny silver key with the words "Future Unlocked" engraved on it. "Before we begin," Ms. Chen said, "Ms. Sarah, Would you please show me your necklace? My parents looked confused as I removed the necklace. Ms. Chen examined it, nodded, then reached into her briefcase. Now, she said, I'll read the last will and testament of Isabella Montgomery, CEO of Montgomery Tech and majority shareholder of Montgomery Industries. What happened next would change everything. I, Isabella Montgomery, being of sound mind, hereby declare this to be my last will and testament. Ms. Chen began reading. The room felt charged with electricity as she continued. To my brother Richard and his wife Margaret. My father leaned forward eagerly. I leave precisely what they gave my beloved niece Sarah 5 years ago, $50 and the chance to walk away. The room exploded. This is outrageous, my father shouted, his face turning purple. I'm her only sibling. Ms. Chen continued as if he hadn't spoken. To my niece, Sarah Montgomery, I leave my entire estate including but not limited to my controlling shares in Montgomery Tech, valued at $2.8 billion, all properties both domestic and international, my entire investment portfolio and full ownership of Montgomery Industries. My mother's designer purse hit the floor. That's impossible, she whispered. Furthermore, Ms. Chen pressed on, I hereby name Sarah Montgomery as my successor, effective immediately upon my death, as CEO of Montgomery Tech and President of Montgomery Industries. The key around my neck suddenly felt heavier. This was what Aunt Isabella had been preparing me for all along. Those late nights reviewing company reports, the board meetings she insisted I attend, the business courses she'd encouraged alongside my art degree. It hadn't just been mentorship. It had been training. This is absurd. My father stood up, knocking his chair backward. She's just a stupid girl who draws pictures. She can't run a multi-billion-dollar company. Ms. Chen pulled out another document. Actually, Sarah has been effectively running Montgomery Tech's UI/UX division for the past year, leading to a 40% increase in user satisfaction and a significant rise in stock value. Isabella kept detailed records of Sarah's contributions. My mother switched tactics instantly, her face morphing into concerned motherly worry. Sweetheart, she reached for my hand. I pulled away. This is too much responsibility for someone so young. Let us help you. We're family after all. Family? My voice was quiet but firm. Family doesn't throw their daughter out with $50. Family doesn't abandon their child for following her dreams. Aunt Isabella was my family. Now, Sarah. My father's tone turned threatening. Think carefully about what you're doing. We'll contest this will. You're clearly not mentally prepared for this responsibility. Ms. Chen smiled for the first time. Isabella anticipated this reaction. She pulled out a flash drive. This contains 5 years of documented attempts by both of you to access Isabella's accounts, including fraudulent documents using her signature. She kept everything. She also documented your attempts to bribe board members to vote against Sarah's projects. My parents paled. Additionally, Ms. Chen continued, there's a letter here for Sarah. She handed me an envelope with my name written in Aunt Isabella's elegant handwriting. My darling Sarah, if you're reading this, then everything has happened as I predicted. Your parents have shown their true colors once again. But you, my brilliant girl, are ready for this, more ready than you know. I didn't choose you as my heir because you're my niece. I chose you because in the past 5 years, you've shown every quality a true leader needs. Your artistic vision isn't a weakness, it's your greatest strength. You see possibilities others miss. You understand that technology should serve humanity, not the other way around. The key you wear isn't just symbolic. In my private safe, combination is your birthday. You'll find everything you need to know about the company, including some projects I've kept secret from the board. One in particular will change everything. Project Legacy. Your parents never understood that true wealth isn't about money. It's about making a difference in the world. Don't let anyone tell you you're not ready. You've been ready since the day you chose to be true to yourself, even when it costs you everything. All my love, Aunt Isabella. P.S. The safe also contains evidence of your father's involvement in some rather questionable medical practices. Use it if necessary. I folded the letter carefully, feeling strength flow through me. When I looked up, my parents were whispering urgently to each other. Ms. Chen, I said, my voice clear and confident, please have security escort my parents out. And prepare papers bearing them from entering any Montgomery Tech property. You ungrateful little. My father started. I'm not done, I cut him off. Also prepare a press release announcing my position as CEO, and set up a board meeting for tomorrow morning. You'll regret this, my mother hissed as security arrived. We're not finished. Actually, we are. I stood channeling every ounce of Aunt Isabella's grace. Oh, and Dad. I'm sure the medical board would be very interested in Project Legacy's findings about your experimental procedures. Their faces went ash white. After they were gone, Ms. Chen smiled. Your aunt would be proud. The board meeting is already scheduled for 9 a.m. The members who worked with you in UI/UX are prepared to support you. That evening, I sat in Aunt Isabella's office, my office now, looking at her photo on the wall. The safe yielded everything she promised. Company documents, Project Legacy files, and enough evidence to ensure my parents would never bother me again. 1 year later, Montgomery Tech launched Project Legacy, a revolutionary healthcare ad that would make quality medical care accessible to everyone, not just the wealthy. The press called it visionary. The board called it our greatest achievement. My father called his lawyer, but by then, his medical license was already suspended. My mother tried reaching out once when our stock price tripled. I had her number blocked. The key pendant still hangs around my neck, but I don't need it to remind me of who I am anymore. I'm Sarah Montgomery, CEO of Montgomery Tech, and like my Aunt Isabella, I believe in using power to make a difference, not to make others feel powerless. Sometimes, late at night working in my office, I swear I can feel Aunt Isabella's presence, smiling at the designs scattered across my desk. Designs that will shape the future. She taught me that success isn't about proving others wrong. It's about proving yourself right. As for my parents, last I heard, they'd moved to a smaller house in the suburbs. Turns out, living beyond your means catches up with you eventually, but I don't think about them much anymore. I'm too busy building the legacy Aunt Isabella always knew I could create. The stupid girl who draws pictures, she just changed the world.